Okay, so what we're going to do when we're estimating square roots, there's three steps, and part of that third step, we'll have another little thing that we do to get it to estimate it to the nearest tenth. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with the first step. So the first step is to write the two perfect squares the problem's located between. Now I'm going to skip the radicand, which is that little symbol. Only because it's hard to do when I'm doing it on my laptop. But I know that the number that comes before it, the perfect square before it, is 25. Okay, we know that we're going to find the square root of 25. The next perfect square, and we did this with our lists yesterday. So remember, we did a list to kind of find what those squares were. The next one is 36. Okay. So that means that we know that our square root is going to become between 5 and 6. Okay. So that's what it comes between. So we simplified. So we found the two perfect squares it comes between. We simplified the two perfect squares. We know it comes between 5 or 6. So that means that what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put my first number as 5. Okay. Because I know that it's more than 5 and less than 6. My last step is to determine which perfect square the problem is closest to and then estimate to the nearest tenth. Well, here's an easier way to do it. We're going to take the irrational number because we're going to write it as a fraction, and then we can simplify it, and it works every time. So my irrational number is 29 because I've got to figure out that tenth. I'm going to subtract the lower perfect square from that. The lower perfect square is going to be 25. Okay. And you'll have to look at this because it's obviously going to be a different number each time. So my numerator is going to be 4 because we're going to write a fraction, and we're going to just convert that fraction to a decimal like we've been doing. The bigger perfect square is 36. Okay. And we're going to subtract the lower perfect square. Lower perfect square is 25. Okay. Well, 36 minus 25 is 11. So we end up with a fraction of 4 over 11, and that's actually the most precise that you're going to get. But if we need to write it as a decimal, we're going to have to convert. So again, we'll go ahead and we'll put our 4 in here. And the nice thing is because it's 11, it's a little bit easier to see. Okay, well, I just have to do one decimal place. I don't even have to do two. So I know that it doesn't go into 4. It does go into 40. It goes into 40 3 times. So that means my decimal place is going to be 5.3. Now I could go further with that, but I'm only going to require you to go to the 10th because that's all the state requires you to go to. So as long as you know that it's 5.3, you're good to go. Go ahead and we'll go to the next one. So you'll go ahead and go to the next slide and we'll work through that one together also.